So John White here with Luke 10, and I'm here with my friend Mina Millen. And Mina is sort of in the South Bay area in California. And one of the things that we know is that in the last several years, this concept of a CO2, or Church of Two, has been spreading literally around the world. We're having stories from all over the place. And Mina is part of the West Coast leadership team with Luke 10, and then also is the coordinator of the South Bay leadership team. And I know that they are getting ready to do a session of Church 101. That's where we teach people how to do a Church of Two. And as they were thinking about it, they thought there would be value in having some meetings before they actually start the course. So I've asked Mina to talk about your thinking about why you're having those meetings and what you do in them and what you want to accomplish in them. So, Mina, tell us about that.
Yeah, well, we have people that are interested in more of the rhythms in Luke 10, and they signed up for the course. We have their names, but what we found in the past is, I guess we haven't, we wanted to make clear what the class is all about. The coursework and the 45 minutes of homework and actually finding a CO2 partner. Mm-hmm. And that is the basic foundation of Luke 10. So we wanted to have a pre-meeting to make sure they know what they're getting into, and we know we've made it clear. So that's one of the big reasons, is that we're all on the same page.
So sometimes we've done Church 101 courses, I know, and somebody would get in the middle of it and decide, oh, this isn't what I thought it would be, or I don't have the time, or I can't mm-hmm. do the homework, and you're trying to help people count the cost, right?
Right, exactly. And the big thing is that they would get a couple weeks of daily CO2 under their belt before we even have our first lesson, because that's what the Luke 10 community is about. And some people, they just need to know that that's the commitment. It's a daily commitment. Luke 10 is a high-level participatory community. Right. We are not a spectator community. We want to be the church daily, not just once a week. So whether it's you check in by text, whether it's 5 minutes or 30 minutes on the phone or email, it's up to you. The flexibility is up to you. So we just want to make sure that that's what it's about. And all of them seem to be, we had our first pre-meeting already, and they were all excited about this to get a partner. In fact, 2 of the people became partners on our conference call. So It's great if one of your CO2 partners is actually taking the class, but it is not an imperative, because if you do it with someone outside the class, then you have a chance to teach them as you're learning. And so, it multiplies already in the class. And listening to Jesus is the basic foundation. If, all Christians, we're training ourselves to listen to Jesus and sit at his feet together.
Right.
Yeah.
So you actually have 2 meetings with people before you start the course. So talk about what kind of materials you've developed for those meetings, and what do you do in the first one, and what do you do in the second one?
Yeah, so the first one is just to introduce ourselves. I'm a co-facilitator with Fred, and we just tell them about our story and what CO2 has meant to us, and we learn about them a little bit and where they're from and what brings them to Luke 10. And so that's our first meeting, and also just introducing them to the basic 2 rhythms of listening at heart level to each other and then listening to the Lord. So the first pre-meeting is to describe CO2 for them.
Okay.
And the second meeting is we ask them, okay, if you're if this is something you would like to dive into for 4 weeks and see what God does, you want to experiment with us, because we are a community of experimenters, the mad scientist. So we ask, would you like to keep meeting on a conference call, or would you like to try Google Hangout? And so we come to consensus, and our last one, it was half and half. So we thought, so we have our first pre-meeting. Our second one is just an electronic connection where we all get on the Google Hangout, and we friend each other beforehand, and we get out all the kinks. So we do not have an official meeting. Again, the first one is just electronic connection.
Now,
Because sometimes,
the first call is a conference call. It's a phone call, right?
yes, it's a phone call. That's right.
And the second one is getting straightened out with the Google Hangout, and I think that's very wise. We found that Google Hangouts work really great once people get on them and
Yes.
connected and all. So talk about that.
Yeah, they work really well, but you have to friend each other, and sometimes the speakers are out of sync, and so we just devote one whole session, which could be as quick as 5 minutes. Hey, we're connected. Okay, how you doing? And then we're gone. This is not a class. This is just let's get connected. One gal, I remember my first Google Hangout, it took her about 45 minutes to get connected. But we allotted about an hour for connections, and I just stayed on there. And also, it's wonderful, on the Google Hangout, you can call the person on their cell phone while you're on the Hangout. So you can actually be talking to them on the cell phone and guiding them through how to do the Google Hangout.
How do you do that from a Google Hangout? How do you get to their phone number?
Yeah, well, you press the little icon that has the person.
Up at the top of the screen.
At the top of the screen, there's this little silhouette of a round head and shoulders.
So let me see. I'm gonna go up there and look at it now, and because we're recording this, and I'm putting my cursor on the part that says invite people. So I click on that.
Yep.
And this thing comes up, and there's a place on there for a phone call. How do I do that?
It says telephone.
Okay.
Do you see that part?
Here, let's see. Maybe I need to put a name in first. Why don't you do it on yours?
Yeah, let me click. It's the little person. Why is it not clicking? It says invite people. Maybe because this call is recorded, it doesn't let me do it.
Okay, that might be.
Yeah.
But that's where you would go for that.
That's right. That little person up on the screen, it says telephone. You'll click that, and then you just dial in their number like normal and call them. It's really great. And in fact, on our West Coast Hangouts, sometimes I'm not able to do Google Hangout. I'm out and about with my kids, and I said, hey, when you get on the Google Hangout, can you guys just call me? And to me, it's like a conference call. So they can't see me, but they can hear me.
Right.
So in some instances, some people will not be able to get to the Google Hangout, in which case we'll just call them.
Yep.
So it's a wonderful hybrid model.
And so on the pre-meeting, you might have somebody on the phone while they're also, you're guiding them how to get hooked up on the video, the Google Hangout.
Yep, that's right.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
You're actually going to start your cohort, your group in June, right?
Yep.
And you've got 6 people that have committed.
Yep, 6 people, and they are getting their CO2 partners right now because we've made it clear that we would like them to start the daily process, and then that's part of the commitment level. So they all rose to the occasion. They want to do this. To me, I explain it as, imagine being a part of a community where if you end up, when you meet once a week, you know that they've been meeting with Jesus every day with another person, listening. So when you come together once a week, your community is in a different place because they've already been meeting every day.
Yeah.
And some of the people on the call are going to traditional church. And, my heart goes out to the pastors of these churches that feel the burden of needing to shepherd all the people, when really we need to take advantage of the priesthood of believers. Jesus gave us each other. We can comfort one another and encourage one another with Jesus there, rather than having it be on the leader of the small group or the large church that meets once a week.
Amen.
So they are excited to be part of that everyday church.
Well, Mina, I love what you guys are doing. This is a great example of an experiment or an innovation. We really encourage innovations within Luke 10. Try things out, and then we share with the whole community what we're learning. So I suspect that lots of other Church 101 groups are going to benefit from what you guys have done. So maybe we'll do one of these at the end of your group as well, and you can tell us kind of how it worked out. But again, I just think you guys are doing a great job, and we're praying that CO2 virus, as we call it, will spread like a benevolent virus throughout that whole area where you are there in the Bay Area of California. So thank you so much for what you guys are doing.
Yeah, sure. And one other thing I just wanted to add is that Fred made a flexible script for us to read through while we're on the conference call. And that was very helpful. And also we have a sample audio of a real live CO2 that me and Lois made. So we want to make that available to people. You know, hey, what does the CO2 actually sound like? Well, we have a sample that you can listen to and pass on as well. So
We'll
I
try
just
to
want
put
to
all
make
that
that
on up on the blog so people can access that.
right. Well, yeah, we'll do that.
Okay,
Okay.
great. Thanks so much, Mina.
Yeah, thank you, John.